All right, everybody. Cook Jewishy is back. Evan's back. And it's time to have a good time, do some good cooking here. I tell you what, Cook Jewishy's in a real good mood because my youngest son just had his bar mitzvah, so, l'chaim, he's to all yous out there. It's a wonderful, beautiful thing, even with all this COVID business. We had a beautiful bar mitzvah, and I'm really just ecstatic about it. And so now, it's time to get jiggy with it. We're going to talk about making some real flavorful tofu. And you may say, well, what on earth does tofu have to do with getting jiggy with it? Well, you're going to see. I'm going to show you. So we only need a few ingredients here. We're going to make some absolutely delicious, chock full of flavor tofu. All we need is some tofu. Hey, you knew that already, right? Yeah, it should be firm or extra fine. We need some nutritional yeast. We need some Bragg's liquid aminos, and other than that, you just need your trusty old cast iron pan and some frying oil for it. And we're gonna get going here. So, but first, I gotta have a little drink. L'chaim. Let's talk tofu, huh? We got a lot of vegetarians in my family, so I've been playing around with tofu for a long time, and it's hard to get flavor into tofu. I tried a lot of different things. I'm going to show you what I found is the easiest, quickest way to get a ton of flavor packed into your tofu. Now, if you got time, take your tofu, put it in between a couple of plates of the right size, put a little weight on top of it so that you can press some of the water out of it. If you don't have time for this, don't worry about it. It's going to be fine. It just makes the frying a little easier if you get some of the water out of it. So I'm just going to take a couple of dinner plates. Actually, they're lunch plates. I don't know what you call them. Medium-sized plates here. Put tofu on one, put the other one on top, and put something of the appropriate weight right on top of that. Hey, Mr. Williams, thank you for your service there. So you're just going to let that sit. Make sure Mr. Williams doesn't fall over, though, because sometimes the tofu don't press evenly. It starts to tilt one way or another. So keep track of it. You can let this press, I don't know, half hour, that's up to you. Just get some of the extra water out of the tofu and make the frying more convenient. But like I said, if you ain't got time, you can skip this step. Your frying will be a bit more splattery when you get to that step. See, now you take a good look at right there. You can see there's a lot of water it's been squeezing out of the tofu there. So, Mr. Williams is doing us a really good service here. Doing us a good solid. So, thank you, Mr. Williams. In a few minutes, I'm going to get to the next step of this. Alright, so the first choice you got to make is, what size tofu cubes do you want? You want big ones or little ones? This is really a personal choice. So, I tell you what, I'm going to cut tofu like this to make 2 fat layers. Oh, you can't even see what I'm doing. I gotta move the camera. Alright. What am I doing over here? Alright. So, I cut it into 2 fat layers. I got the tofu here cut into 2 fat layers. So, if you want big cubes of tofu, cut it into thirds this way and into quarters this way. If you want smaller cubes, maybe more bite size, you ain't got such a big mouth. I got a big mouth. But, you go into fist this way and you go into fourths that way. So that's what we're going to do tonight, make a little smaller cubes. So we're going to go into fifths. It looks pretty good there. And then we'll go into quarters this way. Alright, that's the only decision you got to make. The rest of it is pretty much decided for you. So let's move over to the frying pan now. Alright, get your trusty cast iron pan out. Now let's talk about sizes here. If you're doing 1 pound of tofu, get out your 10-inch pan. If you're doing 2 pounds, get out your 12-inch pan. Alright? Got some other stuff I'm cooking here. I got to stir around a little bit. Alright, I'm going to turn the flame on real high. High as it'll go. Get out some good frying oil, either peanut oil or canola oil as far as I'm concerned. This is going to be a high temperature fry. So get out some canola oil here. And this is going to be a shallow fry, so you ain't going to be deep frying it. Although you can if you really want to. But you know, just get a good layer of oil in there covering the entire bottom of the pan. And wait till it gets good and hot. Keep that flame on high. Alright, so you know, you get the oil good and hot, and then it's time to put the tofu in. Now do this carefully, because you don't want to splash the oil. You splash the hot oil on yourself, it's going to burn real bad, but it don't feel good. So, you know, be careful with it. So I like to try to kind of slide the tofu off of the cutting board. Now you got to make sure that the tofu is all in a single layer. You can see I got my 10-inch pan here, and you know, a pound of tofu fits perfectly as far as I'm concerned. And so now begins the labor of love. You're going to keep the flame on high. You're going to be frying this hard. It's going to splatter a little bit because tofu's got a lot of moisture in it. And that is the key here. Frying the tofu like this does two things pretty quickly. One, it helps get rid of some of that moisture. Two, eventually it's going to be nice and golden brown. And you know I love it when things get golden brown in the frying pan. So, you know, I'm just going to sit here and watch the tofu now. This is a labor of love part. You know, you just got to see, you know, let it sit there for a little bit, you know, and then eventually we got to flip it over. You may be wondering, isn't the tofu going to stick? Nah, it ain't going to stick real bad at all. Number one, because I got a good seasoned cast iron pan. Number two, because I'm frying in good oil, good and hot. And that's part of the secret here. Now I'm going to turn the camera off here for a minute, come back when it's time to flip the tofu over. Maybe I'll go stir my zucchini that's back over here, and beautiful summer squash that I'm also frying up. Alright, so one of the tools you're going to want for this is a real thin metal spatula. Now this is why I also don't use non-stick cookware, because you know, you can't use metal on non-stick cookware. So, real thin metal spatula. This one's got slots in it, helps the oil drip through. But any real thin spatula is going to work real good for you. We're going to start to flip this. Now, one thing I like to do is to just wiggle the tofu a little bit sometimes to see how bad it's sticking or not. Let me know. It may stick a little bit, but like I said, it ain't going to stick real bad. Alright, so loosen it up. Start to flip some of it over. When you flip it over, you know, try not to splash the oil. You know, but if you splash a little bit, well, you know, hopefully nothing's in the way to get burnt. But that is real hot, I'll tell you what. It ain't no joke here. So, you know, now I'm going to start looking around, and this is a process I do a lot. I like to just stand in front of it and stare at it cooking. Kind of see, you know, if individual little cubes of tofu need to be flipped or not. You know, see which sides ain't got any brown or not. You know, now, early in the process, of course, most of the sides ain't going to have no brown. But later on, we're going to be checking that more carefully. Now, you know, like I was saying towards the beginning of this video, you know, I've been cooking tofu for a lot of years. Got a lot of vegetarians in the family. I've tried all kinds of things. I've tried marinating it, grilling it, baking it, and frying it. And I decided to make this video because I was just so happy with how it came out when I discovered the technique that I used to fry it. Even though it's sitting there in all that oil, it ain't going to be greasy. Trust me, tofu does not soak up oil. Your cast iron pan loves the oil. The tofu loves to cook in it, but it does not soak it up. And we're just really cooking off some water and getting a little golden brown crust on these little beautiful cubes. Another tool that can be real useful is some metal tongs here. You know, if you're gonna get real obsessive about making sure all 6 sides of every tofu cube is nicely browned, which sometimes I do. Hey, you know, sometimes that's how I like to roll. You know, then you know you have one of these so you can turn individual cubes of tofu. So I've been flipping these now and then. They've been frying about 5 minutes. I'm just gonna keep on rolling here, and you know. When I say that this recipe is quick, that's a relative time. It's a lot quicker than baking tofu, that's for sure. And in my experience, it delivers more consistent results, more delicious results. You get tons of flavor in tofu every time. Look at that. It's beautiful. Starting to get golden brown all over. And that pan, a little wiggle jiggle. This is what I mean about getting jiggy with it. You know, you're gonna see if things are sticking or not. If they're sticking, you're gonna be real careful with your tin spatula. Get under them before you flip it. Oh, I think one of them got away over there. I gotta go get it. Now remember, when you're frying, the cast iron handle is going to get real good and hot too. So always use a cloth or an oven mitt to grab it. I don't want nobody getting burned, getting hurt watching these videos. Cook Jewish. We don't need that. There's enough difficult problems going on in the world already. And we don't need to burn ourselves and make it worse. Look at that. See how they start to slide around? That's beautiful. Alright, I've been frying now, I think, for nearly 10 minutes. And just about all 6 sides are starting to get golden brown. And you may notice if you look real close that some of the pieces is even getting a little darker shade of brown. So now, what we want to do is make sure that you got a nice heat-proof bowl that you can take the tofu out and put it in. I'm not quite ready yet, but I got a nice heat-proof bowl here. So I am ready to take it out, but the tofu ain't ready just about yet. I'm a little stumbling over my words here. Mr. Evans and I, we've been having some conversations. Sometimes it makes it hard to talk. But let me tell you, tofu's just about ready. I'm ready with my bowl. Yeah, Big Willie style, and jiggy with it. Alright, so now it's time to talk about sauce. You may have been wondering, you know, because I'm talking about getting flavor in the tofu and I ain't added a single flavor in yet to it. Well, that's because it comes after the cooking part, immediately after. In the bowl that's heat-proof, a good heat-proof bowl, that's where you're going to put your sauce. You can put any kind of sauce you want in there and the tofu is going to suck it up after you have fried the tofu hard like this. You can put buffalo sauce in there and make yourself buffalo tofu. I've done it. It's delicious. You can put teriyaki in there. Put some soy vey in there. What I'm going to do today is a little secret we got in our household. A real simple combination. Bragg's liquid aminos and nutritional yeast. It's a vegetarian's favorite. So I just got some liquid aminos in here. Now you may know if you've cooked with liquid aminos before, they're pretty salty. So I ain't going to put too much in the bowl here, but I'll put enough that I think is about the right amount for a pound of tofu. You can always add more later, but you can't take it out. If it's too salty, you know, forget about it. So that's all I got in the bowl right now. That's it. Bragg's liquid aminos. Let's cook the tofu again and see how dark brown it's getting. Let's just give it a little jiggle. Oh yeah, this is just about done. It's starting to get hard and crispy on the outside. Oh, this is beautiful. Give it a little jiggle, get it all back into a single layer. You see the cast iron glistening, it's a beautiful thing. Your cast iron loves to fry. You know, you can't go wrong frying with cast iron. Going to let this go about another minute or two. So that's going to be about, 12 to 14 minutes total of frying here on my stovetop. All on high the entire time. And then we're going to move on to the next step. Now, remember, the tofu is really, really hot. Everything over there is real, real hot. You don't want to get burned. How you doing, Schmitty?
Good, how you doing?
Good. You feeling good after your bar mitzvah?
Uh-huh.
Good. He was real proud of Schmitty. He did a great job on his bar mitzvah there. It's a beautiful service. Thank you to the rabbi. Thank you to Schmitty. Thank you to Schmitty's teachers. All right, that's it. These are ready. I'm going to turn the flame off. Using this, which is slotted, it's going to let the oil fall down true. Take the tofu out, let some of the oil drip off, and then just put the tofu immediately right into your bowl that's got your sauce in it. Like I said, buffalo sauce, teriyaki, whatever you like. Put it in there while the tofu is at its hottest. Alright, now, take something that you can stir the tofu around in without spilling it out, so that you start covering the tofu up with all that beautiful sauce that you got in there, whatever kind you like. Like I said, my family loves a mixture of Bragg's aminos and nutritional yeast. So I'm just going to move the camera and show you what I'm doing. Alright, so the tofu has soaked up all of that sauce, and that is the key to flavor. After frying the tofu hard like that,
What's for dinner?
hey, it's coming, alright? I'm making tofu, we having peanut noodles and, peanut sauce, and we having fried tofu here. So the key, the thing that the frying does, in addition to giving the tofu a delicious crispy texture, is that it makes the tofu amenable to soaking up liquid and flavor. So, it's soaked up all the Bragg's aminos. I'm going to pour just a little bit more on. I'm going to shake on a bunch of nutritional yeast here, and I'm going to stir it around again. And at this point, the process is just going to get somewhat repetitive. What you're going to do is take a piece of tofu out, taste it, see if it's good enough, or if you need more sauce in there. See if you need any additions. Is it salty enough? Is it flavorful enough? Do you want to shake anything else in there? Some Frank's Red Hot maybe? Some Tabasco, some soy vey, I don't know. You put in whatever you want. What I'm telling you is that after you fry the tofu hard like that, it's going to soak up anything you put in this bowl. And that is the key to delicious, flavorful tofu. So, eat in good health, be well, enjoy your cooking, enjoy your family, l'chaim, take care.